So the title of the chapter is The Next. Endeavor arrives on the battlefield. He says they received a message from All Might telling them Deku was in danger, but it took some time to get there because he's slower on rainy days. He asks Deku about enemies other than Nagant, but they're interrupted by Hawks' scream. So a couple chapters back, All Might was almost killed by like a grenade that came at his car. But it was like All Might's special Batmobile car, so he was able to like survive the explosion. And I'm gonna be talking about that later because we come into a similar situation later on. But after he survived, then he contacted the rest of the group here. And then at the end of the previous chapter, after Lady Nagant was blown up by All For One remotely, Hawks came out of nowhere and was able to grab her before she completely fell to the ground. But it turns out that Hawks may have jumped the gun, but let's continue. Hawks is falling because he still doesn't have enough feathers to fly while carrying Nagant, so Deku holds them with Black Whip. He seems to be in extreme pain. So I'm assuming that Izuku is feeling the battle that he just had with Nagant, but also the fact that he was using multiple quirks at once. Like at first he was using pretty much all of them simultaneously, but then the third user was like, hey, the new meta that we're chasing right now is parallel processing. You'll eventually get to that point where you can use all of them at once, but now you kind of need to pull it back and only use maybe one or two at the same time. Deku tells Hawks about the explosion and how, judging by the timing, it wasn't something planned by Nagant herself, so it was probably caused by All For One. Hawks starts introducing himself to Nagant, saying that he's her replacement, and after fighting Deku, she should have already noticed that there's still hope in Hero Society, that it's still too early to give up on everything. Hawks begs Nagant to tell them everything she knows about All For One and give them some hope, because he doesn't want it to end with her being used once again. After hearing from Hawks that he's her replacement, she assumes he must be from the Public Safety Commission, so she starts wondering why he still has those glowing eyes. Not only Hawks, but Deku also has the eyes of someone who hasn't given up. They remind her of herself when she was a little girl full of dreams. But first, this video is sponsored by Honeygain. You can make extra cash now just by sharing the internet connection in your device. It's literally Airbnb or Uber for your internet. Now hear me out. It won't cover your living expenses, but millions use Honeygain every month to cover things like their Netflix or Spotify subscriptions, buy games or in-game items every month. Also, the app doesn't collect any of your personal data. Instead, it uses the internet to gather bits from information from the web, like the best prices or where fake goods are being sold online. And also, if you invite your friends to join Honeygain, you'll earn 10% of their earnings on top of your own. So sign up now and get your first $5 with my special promo code ZONIN, or just download the app by clicking the link in the description. So thank you again to Honeygain for sponsoring the video. Like I said, all links will be in the description. And also you'll be helping your boy out, of course, if you decide to check out Honeygain. So thanks again, guys. So I guess Nagant is alive here. And I speculated that it's maybe like a 50-50 chance in the previous chapter because she wasn't like, you know, blown to bits. Like when she exploded, she still kept her form. She was just, you know, got burnt from it. So that's the second false death that we've had in like the last 5 chapters. This also ties into what's going to be happening in the end of these spoilers because it's all related. Nagant screams the order she received from All For One. She was supposed to bring Deku to a mansion in Hybori Woods in the next 2 months. Okay, so this is huge. This is allegedly what All For One's plan is. They reach the ground safely. Nagant warns them that All For One has many other strong individuals by his side. She says her heart wasn't strong enough and asks Hawks how he's able to keep his head up after all he's been through. We then see a flashback of Baby Hawks holding the Endeavor plushie. He says it's because he had someone to support him and that he's just overall a pretty optimistic guy. Endeavor is holding Chisaki, who's still screaming about his boss and how he wants to apologize to him. Deku asks him if he still remembers what he did to Eri. Chisaki then starts to repeat her name while saying that she's all he needs to wake the boss. Deku then said that since Chisaki still has the feeling of wanting to apologize to someone, if he can project that feeling for Eri as well, then he would fulfill Lady Nagant's promise to him by taking him to his boss. All Might then arrived in panic and hurriedly made sure of Deku's condition. Endeavor reported the situation and asked for the police and ambulance. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know if this is like the full extent of Izuku's conversation with Overhaul, but I think it's a little odd that he's proposing that like if he apologizes to Eri, then he'll take him to the Yakuza boss. At least that's what it seems like from the spoilers here. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good idea. I mean, Izuku's heart is in the right place, but do you really want to have Eri talk to Overhaul again? Even if it is for him just straight up apologizing to her, it just, I don't know, doesn't seem like a good idea. But since this was put out there, I'm assuming there's more to Overhaul's storyline here, and it doesn't seem like he's being set up for a redemption. At least, not yet. The next panel changed location to Hibari Woods. To be exact, it was the mansion of the CRC base. Hawks, Genist, Endeavor, Mount Lady, Kamui Woods, and Edgeshot were seen to follow Deku. The narration explained that All for One and Shigaraki are still not able to take One for All. When they entered the mansion, a hologram of All for One appeared, and he welcomed them. He was saying that having the hologram appears means that they got Nagant to spill the location info, so everything is still going as All for One had planned. Of course, All for One, he knew the whole time. He knew everything in advance, but still somehow his ultimate plan never came to fruition over the course of over a century. But putting all of that to the side, we're still seeing that he's a hyper-diabolical mastermind. And also, to me, it feels like this is moving very aggressively. I'm aware that we are in the final act of the series, trust me guys, but still it seems like this was way too fast, considering that we just spent, what, 4 or 5 chapters with Lady Nagant. Now, in the span of 1 page, we're instantly in the Hibari mansion. All for One explained that he loves to predict people's moves. He then proceeded to have a monologue about how society outcasts people with quirks that don't match the society standard, etc. He said that the path that Deku chose is hard and he'll need to fight endless battles, and his heart will just get worn down as he keeps fighting. All for One then said he's no longer interested in All Might. He then told Deku, next, it's your turn, in parallel to All Might's word in Kamino. In the last panel, we see the mansion exploded. End of chapter. So I would be more shocked by this if not for, like I said, we had 2 false deaths in the last couple chapters here. So does Horikoshi really expect me to be like, oh no, somebody's going to be dead by this? I mean, it is possible. They do have a couple characters with them that could definitely die. Mount Lady, Kamui Woods, Edgeshot, maybe even Best Genus. But he also had a false death himself. And kind of Kamui Woods too. So yeah, if somebody is going to die because of this, I guess it will be, one of those 3. Or they might be maimed or injured or something. But it's possible that them being killed by the explosion here might give more motivation for Endeavor and Hawks and Genus to go after All for One, who I guess didn't really have too many personal attachments to this mission. It was mainly like them going after Dabi, who by proxy they're going after All for One as well. But yeah, let me know what you think about the spoilers in the comments. What do you think is going on with this mansion explosion? Is this just another fake out, or did somebody legitimately die? Let me know. And if you liked it, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.